every day, one by one, I'm gonna try every recipe of Laura, starting from the very beginning. Come, join me on my challenge. Let's go! Hi everyone! Welcome to the 18th day of my challenge, and boy will I do something fancy today. For such a recipe, which name is Braciole, it even sounds fancy, doesn't it? So for such recipe, I had to invite friends over. So I'm planning to impress some people today. This recipe is a meat dish, which is, stuffed and then rolled and then cooked in a fancy way. So again, I'm planning to impress people, myself included. But before we get into the ingredients, I have 4 things to say about them. First, let's see if I will be able to remember myself. First is about the prosciutto, which is a meat, pork meat, and as I'm living in Iran, no pork to be found, so I've decided just to leave it out completely from the recipe, because if I try to substitute it with something else, it might change the end dish, the taste of the end dish. So this is one. The second one is about the cheese, provolone cheese. I couldn't find that one, but I've decided just to, go along with what they offered me in the shop, so I'll be using that. Third, it's about the wine. This recipe calls for some red wine, and sure enough, I won't be using that. Again, I'm living in the country which has a dry law, so not gonna be breaking any laws. I'll be using beef stock instead of that. And the fourth thing is about the crushed tomatoes. This recipe calls for crushed tomatoes, and I'll be using my own homemade crushed tomatoes. So if you want to see how to do that from fresh tomatoes, just check in the description box, I will leave a link. Okay, now we can move on to the ingredients and start this. We're gonna need 1 piece of flank steak, around 700 grams, 90 grams of breadcrumbs, 50 grams of grated Parmesan, 50 grams of provolone, 100 grams of grated mozzarella, 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley, 1 clove of garlic chopped, 3 eggs, 1 raw, and 2 hard-boiled and quartered. Extra virgin olive oil divided into 2 and 3 tablespoons. 240 milliliters of beef stock, 800 grams of crushed tomatoes, 1 small onion chopped, 10 grams of fresh basil leaves, and salt and pepper to taste. Okay, let's get this going. So I will start by making the filling, and I will mix together all the cheeses, breadcrumbs, parsley, garlic, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, the raw egg. I'm gonna season it with salt and pepper, and I'm gonna mix it all until it's all nice and combined. So the filling's ready, and now before moving to the meat, I need to prepare 6 pieces of, I should actually use the kitchen twine, but as I don't have it, I will use the white cotton thread, thick one, instead of it. And I googled, people say it works as well, so we'll see how that goes. And as I don't know how thick it should be, I think I will experiment and make 3 pieces, like 3 times thicker, and 3 pieces like double thickness, and we'll see which one works better, or if there's no difference at all, so bear with me. Okay, so that's out of the way, and now what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna fill the meat. But before I do that, I wanted to mention that the flank steak should be pounded. I won't do it because my butcher did it for me, but if you have to do that, go check the original recipe by Laura. She shows how to do that yourself at home. Okay, that being said, I will take the meat now, which, by the way, you will see how my butcher understood one piece of flank steak. You'll see that in a minute. So I will take my meat, I will distribute the filling evenly on it, and then I will line the egg and roll with the grain. So let's do that. And now I'm gonna tie with these strings I prepared. Okay, so that definitely went better than I expected because I had so many pieces to work with. So don't make the same mistake as I did. Have an eye on your butcher while he's preparing your flank steak. Anyways, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna brown the braciole. And I'll do that in the largest non-stick skillet I have, in that 3 tablespoons of olive oil we have left. And I'm gonna do that on medium heat for around 5 minutes on each side. I'm gonna switch to the pot where I will cook the braciole. I'm putting in the oil and I'm gonna saute the onion in it for 5 minutes. Okay, now I'm gonna add the braciole back in. I'm gonna try at least. This is too small of a pot, I know. I'm gonna add the beef stock and let it cool for 1 minute. Time to add the crushed tomatoes. Season with some salt and pepper. Medium-low heat for 1 hour and 15 minutes with the lid on. And I'm gonna come and turn it 3 times during it. Okay, so 1 hour and 15 minutes have passed. I will take the braciole out and let it rest for 10 minutes. Yay! Okay, now I'm gonna add in the basil and I'm gonna cook this sauce for 10 more minutes while the meat is resting. Okay, so my braciole was resting for 10 minutes and I've just turned off the sauce, which is done, and now I'm ready to carve it. But first of all, let's admire this wonderful straight form my braciole has, right? Well, I didn't have a big enough pot, so that's what you get, but I hope while carving it to kinda hide this imperfection. So, let's do this. And now the serving. I'm gonna serve in this platter. I'm gonna pour some sauce on the bottom, put the meat on top of it so that it's kept moist, and I'm gonna pour some more sauce on the very middle of it. Okay, this looks really impressive, and I'm gonna try from the parts which didn't fit in this nice serving plate because I don't want to ruin it. And now the moment of truth, because my guests will come in around 30 minutes, so let's see how I did. Okay. Just use my fingers. Good. This will be a successful day. This is very nice. The meat is moist. And actually I want to try the filling. I haven't tried the filling. Oh man. Will I shine today or what? So, if you would like to see the original recipe of how Laura does it without trying 3 times to roll the meat, which I won't lie was a challenge. That was the hardest part actually about the recipe, trying to roll it in the pan and then in the pot. So, if you want to see how a professional does that, go check the original Laura's recipe. And if you want to find this recipe with the metric system measurements, check the description box down below. And that's that with this one. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!